Today I will be briefly mention about the new features that came with version 6.0. Let's start with ABP framework. Lepton's theme became the default theme for our startup templates. A new .NET MAUI startup template has been added to ABP framework. For ABP commercial site, a new .NET MAUI mobile application has been added as an alternative to React Native mobile application. And cookie consent feature has been added to GDPR module within this version. Today I will be only mention about these four features, but there are too many other features. So if you want to see other features, you can read the blog post of version 6.0. As I just said, Lepton's theme is now the default theme for our startup templates. Lepton's Lite theme for free site and Lepton's theme for ABP commercial site. But it's possible to create and specify the theme while you creating an application. You can do this by creating an application with ABP CLI, by creating it on Get Started page of ABP website or via ABP Suite for commercial customers. You just need to specify the theme option as shown in here with the theme name while creating an application with ABP CLI. For free templates, we got two options for themes. Lepton's Lite theme and basic themes are the options. For Pro templates, we got three options. Lepton's theme, Lepton theme, and basic theme are the options. If you don't specify any theme, one of these themes will be your default theme according to your template choice. You can also create an application from Get Started page of ABP website. As you can see, there is a Select UI theme section in this page. But if you want to see this theme selection section, you need to check the preview checkbox, because otherwise the latest stable version, which is 5.3.4, will be created, and this theme selection option is not available in the latest version. It is available in from version 6.0. You can also select a theme while creating a project from ABP Suite. You can select Lepton, and basic themes as theme of your application. If you go with Lepton's theme, you can also specify the theme style. There are four options for that. System, dim, light, and dark are the options. Let's see the Lepton's theme in action. Sorry. As you can see, Lepton's theme already implemented for the modules, and it's quite well. I just want to show you some of the pages like OpenID modules, applications, and scope pages. We got settings panel in the Lepton's theme. You can change the appearance of the application. There are four options like light, semi-dark, dark, and system. System is according to your operation system. We got also some container width options. You are seeing the full width option right now. We also get boxed layout. As you can see, we got some other options. We also got the language selection section in here. You can change any language you want and see the application. Let's continue with .NET MAUI startup template. ABP framework provides .NET MAUI startup template with this version. This is a minimalist .NET MAUI application with minimal ABP packages integrated. Only the ABP Autofake package is pre-installed with this template now, but you can also use other ABP packages and modules by your needs. But we wanted to make it minimalist, so you can give it a try and test the .NET MAUI startup template. You can create a new .NET MAUI template by specifying the theme as MAUI. You can also read the MAUI application startup template documentation for more info about that. For ABP commercial site, we've added .NET MAUI mobile application as an alternative to React Native application. We were providing the React Native application for a while. We also wanted to add a new mobile application. To create a new application startup template with the .NET MAUI application, you need to specify the mobile as MAUI as shown in here. And this is also a simple application like the React Native mobile application. It has a users page and login and register pages. You can see the gifts for a demonstration. And we've added the GDPR module in the latest versions, in version 5.3 actually. And we've already implemented the download your personal data and delete personal data features in the latest version. And we've announced it in our version 5.3 blog post. As you can see, we got some options. We can request our personal data, and there are sometimes need to be passed to collect this personal data related to us, and then we can download it. And we also have right to delete the personal data that collected by the application and delete our application permanently. Actually, this is
Engin, I want to add something here.
okay.
As I know, here we are waiting for a while to download the personal data because it's actually working with microservice compatible. In a microservice
Yes.
environment, actually it's broadcast an event related to that. All microservices can prepare data and collect in a single point. Then we download it. So it's it may be a long-running process. So it's I want to add that it's microservice compatible as well as working in a monolith solution too.
Yes,
We
it's
can continue.
designed to support distributed scenarios, as you said. We also can specify the data collection time need to be passed. It is 1 hour by default. And we've also announced in the next version, we will add some other features to GDPR module. And in this version, we've added cookie consent feature to the GDPR module. And we made it pre-installed with the startup templates. So if you create a new startup template, the cookie consent feature will be enabled. And we've also added two pages to provide you general content about cookie policy and privacy policies. And we've also made it pre-installed. So when you see the cookie consent, you can click the cookie policy or privacy policy links to show your policies to the customers. You can see the content of these two pages, change the URL of them, or directly delete them if you don't need them. And as I just said before, this is we made it pre-installed and pre-configured for you. So it will be enabled by default, but you may want to make it disabled. So you just need to open your module class and set the enabled property as false, and it will be directly disabled. You can also specify your cookie policy page URL and privacy policy page URL in here. This can also be external URLs, so you are not synced with your application. That's it. Thanks, Bige.
Thank you so much, Engin.
Bige, I can continue with that point.
All right.
Okay. Let me just a minute. Okay. First of all, today we have Maliming and Liang from China. Welcome, guys. They are Chinese team of Volosoft. They are highly active in the ABP repository, you probably know their names. Maybe first time you see them. So welcome, guys, again. We are happy to see you here. Okay. Especially Malimink was very active in the OpenIdDict migration. He has created the fundamental solution and completed the migration from IdentityServer. So before going to the IdentityServer part, I want to ask some questions to Malimink about IdentityServer migration because he has the most knowledge in this area. The first question, Malimink, can you explain how we have migrated to OpenIdDict? What were the main points you can tell us?
Okay, when I decide to use OpenIdDict, I check its documentation, example, and source code. I did some research before coding. We have seen in OpenIdDict that it's different from the IdentityServer, which is highly customizable. You can control everything in this class library. You feel more obvious if you look at the source code of ABP OpenIdDict module. This is same design as the ABP framework. I like this design. We have integrated OpenIdDict manager, store, and cat service in our domain, app core, and mobile module. We always consider the problem of user migration during the code process. We try not to make too many changes so everyone can easily switch to OpenIdDict. Compare with IdentityServer. The commercial UI of OpenIdDict is also very simple. There are only two entities, application and scope. Application is client and the scope is the identity and API scope in IdentityServer. It's easy to understand. We have prepared complete migration guide. My colleague Galip will describe it detail shortly. OpenIdDict is definitely worth learning and use.
Thank you. We will mention the details later in this session. But as I understand, OpenIdDict is a more low-level framework, not framework, but library as compared to IdentityServer. But as we see, it's possible to support all the scenarios currently. Do we have any scenario that was implemented with IdentityServer but wasn't possible to implement with OpenIdDict?
Nope. We have implemented all features of IdentityServer in OpenIdDict open source and commercial module. You can even perceive the change of the other servers. It's still the previous authentication process. For user, nothing has changed.
Okay, that's good. We see that this was a really major change and it was a big work. How long did it take to fully implement it?
More than 4 weeks, we complete coding the module and test in each type of SaaS template, open source, commercial, microservice. During the testing process, we found some issue and solved and improved the module. We're in more trouble, but it will be much easier.
Yeah, great, great work, Malimik. Thank you. What I can say that OpenIdDict is a low-level library, and if you want to directly use it in your own application without ABP, you have to implement many controllers and endpoints and authentication flows yourself, and it will take a good time for you. So with ABP, we are not only integrated the OpenIdDict, we have also created the flow and endpoint layers on top of the OpenIdDict. So it's fully working out of the box. Now we are returning to Galip to make a presentation. We will also discuss details together about the OpenIdDict migration. Galip, we are on you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. So I'll just prepare a few slides. We have a few headers about how we migrated to OpenIdDict, and we will talk about how to integrate our existing templates to OpenIdDict. So we will just start with talking about why do we migrate at the first place. We will discuss the reasoning behind this. Afterwards, we will just talk about differences between IdentityServer and the OpenIdDict. Then we will talk about what will happen to IdentityServer in the ABP side for our modules. And then I will just try to explain how you can migrate your existing application, ABP application, to OpenIdDict. So here is the big question, and let's discuss with Halil about why did we migrate when we invested so much. Maybe you didn't see the announcement for this, but let's talk with Halil about what happened.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, replacing IdentityServer with someone was an old story, and we have been thinking about it for a very long time. Maybe 1.5 years ago, started thinking about that, because IdentityServer has announced that the next version of IdentityServer, which can be IdentityServer 5 if it was free, will be a paid and commercial product. That means IdentityServer 4 will not be open source anymore with the next major version. It will be IdentityServer, Duenda IdentityServer. So it's not a complete rewrite. They have migrated the code, but the license conditions has completely changed it. Now, if you have more than $1 million per year income, you have to get their license. That's a good model, and we congratulate them for their decision. But it doesn't work for an open source project like ABP. If we continue with IdentityServer, this makes directly ABP framework as a commercial product, because there is no way to even make a simple authentication from Angular and Blazor UI. Microsoft is not providing a solution to log in from Blazor UI currently if you don't use an external authentication provider or you have an internal authentication server. So we have to replace this. We have investigated a lot, and we decided to use OpenIdDict because it's the most mature library. While it's not identical with IdentityServer, as Malimink explained, it has many differences. But in the end, they implement the standard protocols, so it's possible to migrate. So we have also talked with the maintainer of the OpenIdDict library and become a sponsor. We will come to that topic. So the main point was IdentityServer is a commercial product now, and we can depend on a commercial product in the open source side. And also we couldn't drop authentication server support. We also thought that we may not provide an authentication server functionality and leave it to the developer. But as I said, even basic Blazor WebAssembly cannot log in without an authentication server. So a third party or external dependency would not be good. So this was my answer to why, the most important question.
Yeah, and you can always check this closed issue about the details. So we can continue about the differences where Malimink also explained a bit. Let's talk more about if people are into the IdentityServer and know about the terminology. There's basically some differences between OpenIdDict and the IdentityServer terminology. And the main changes is with the name client. So the client was the application just making a request to the authentication server. Now this is renamed as an application in OpenIdDict. So this is one of the changes, and all the other resource scope are the same as a name. Also, there are differences between the entities, also in the table count. So OpenIdDict simply uses less entities with less details. For about the flows that we already support, that there are known two non-interactive flows. One of them is client credential and the other one is resource owner password credential. There is no changes in here. They will just keep working as it is. So the last user will not find any differences between them. As it goes with the same with the interactive flows like authorization code flow and the deprecated implicit flow, which becomes now the hybrid flow with the combination of them. So they are both working just fine. So you don't need to worry about if any flow is missing or not working. We are just completed our tests, and all of them are working just fine. So in general, the main differences between the two of them is IdentityServer is a high-level library with the predefined endpoints and even samples with providing the UI. But the OpenIdDict is a bit a low-level library that requires to be rewritten the endpoints and all the server configurations from the ground. But let's talk about IdentityServer maintenance status. So what will happen to if you want to keep using the IdentityServer? The difference in here that we will keep releasing the Bolo ABP IdentityServer package. We embrace the IdentityServer 4. So we are keep releasing IdentityServer 4 related packages, and we will keep supporting it until it is no longer supported by any future .NET version. But we won't be supporting IdentityServer 5, which is now named as Duende IdentityServer. But we will keep this IdentityServer packages released.
Galip, that means actually this version 6, ABP version 6 is not a breaking change for IdentityServer users. They can continue to upgrade their IdentityServer related package and use IdentityServer however you like. But
Exactly.
we will support IdentityServer as long as it supports our current .NET version. But IdentityServer support, official supports ends this year. In the end of this year, they won't release publish patch release, as I understand. They may, I don't know. But as they announced it, they will not continue to support this library.
Yeah, I think they will archive or they already archived the repository. But if you have an existing application on the production already running, and if you want to keep updating, we will just keep releasing these packages. So there is no breaking change for existing users.
So ABP users have time until end of this year to migrate OpenIdDict. We will mention about the migration guide later on. You can continue.
Yeah. So about how our migration to OpenIdDict is thanks to our Chinese team, Liang and Maliming. They have just created our OpenID modules. And now we can talk about how to migrate to OpenIdDict with your existing IdentityServer related or ABP under version 6 applications. We have created guides, detailed guides, step-by-step guides for each framework templates and both the commercial side. I'll just demonstrate them, and that will be, I'm guessing, much better. So you can find them in our ABP documentation. If you just search about migration to OpenIdDict, you can see the migration guide, step-by-step guide, and you will see layer by layer where you need to change and where you need to update, and see the differences between your existing application and the new IdentityServer side. And you can also check based on your UI that what you need to change or what you need to update. They're all detailed in such as if non-separated IdentityServer or the non-tiered applications. So it's completely detailedly tested, and we have documented. We have also existing OpenIdDict module documentation as well, and so you can also check the configurations, check the options, and see the differences between your application. Also, the commercial side, commercial documentation have a bit difference between the framework side, since there are different layers. So it also uses the OpenIdDict Pro module, and you can follow the step-by-step guide to complete your migration to the OpenIdDict. And one of the last pieces I want to show you is our page about OpenIdDict management. You'll see the IdentityServer menu is now replaced with the OpenID, and you can see there are less menus in here. We have applications, they are already preceded. You can add a new application, or you can just manage all your applications in here. Also, we have another one named scopes. Now they are used as a resources, so each resource corresponds to a single scope, and you can now create a new scope or edit and update your scopes. And the last point I want to share with you is the OpenIdDict site. Now, Volosoft is one of the main sponsors to the OpenIdDict core. So we support the OpenIdDict, and we believe and hope this will be a long-term relation. And this
Okay,
also
here, as I said before, we have personally talked with Kevin. He is the main creator and maintainer of this OpenIdDict library. We don't want to have the same problem with OpenIdDict later. You know, it may be a commercial product in the next year, and we have to migrate to another library or create our own solution and so on. We don't want to have that problem. So we have talked with Kevin, and as we can understand, if he can able to maintain the product and have an income, enough income to maintain it, the project will remain open source and free as always. So we thought that we can be a sponsor to this project because we are also having money with this project. So we are now the main sponsor of OpenIdDict library. And if you are using it and if you are making money from this project, we also suggest you to become a sponsor to this project, because there is only one single such a major project for authentication server with .NET for now. So we are trying to keep it open source and free. And as Volosoft, we are always supporting open source and building open source systems. So we are now the main sponsor of OpenIdDict. Okay, that's all from me. Galip, do you have anything in your slide?
Nope. We can now go to question and answers. I'm guessing there are lots of questions.
Yeah, for this.
Just one thing I want to add. I said, but I want to also highlight again that OpenIdDict is a low-layer library. As I said, if you are using it directly in your solution, you have to build a layer on top of it for a flow layer and so on. So ABP provides all this out of the box, and this is also a good contribution to community, because in .NET there is no all-in-one solution to this problem, to authentication server. And if you are an ABP framework user, then you have all this in the box. Okay, now we can continue with the questions.
Yeah, we have received a lot of questions for this one.
You can also take.
Yeah. I will select the questions and okay, take to the screen. I am checking. Galip, you can answer this.
Is it possible to? Oh, sorry, I couldn't see the question.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me repeat the question. Is it possible to continue to use IdentityServer 4 on a new .NET new version 6.0 ABP project?
Yeah.
Yes, you can, but you cannot create any ABP version 6 project and expect an IdentityServer 4 layer. But you can do it like this way. If you just create a version 5 ABP application and upgrade it, update it using the CLI, and if you just follow the breaking change and migration guide, if you don't migrate to OpenIdDict, then it will just work fine.
Okay, another question about Lepton. How can we change the default Lepton branding? I suppose it was already documented, but I have taken note. I will check for the documentation. It's easy. You are just replacing a component. It depends on which UI type you are using. Like for MVC, you will change a view component, I suppose. Otherwise, maybe you do it with CSS and so on. There are ways. We continue to document this template. Can we have Yeah, it will be available on YouTube after the session
All of our
completed.
community talks are recorded on the YouTube, so you can always.
Will Volosov consider a module store? Yes, actually, Volos store is a good name suggestions. We were talking about it behind this. Yeah, yeah. ABP market is always in our mind, but it's not easy actually. We are currently working on to make module installation and uninstallation much easier, straightforward, and stable. So this is one idea in our mind. Can you add a template, Blazor WebAssembly, and MAUI in ABP? Yeah, this is also one of the planned feature for next versions. Actually, we were planning it for the next version, version 7, but we cannot promise if it will be completed. Our idea is to migrate our current Blazor WebAssembly application into MAUI with Blazor View. So it's in the plan. Yeah, that's a good question. We will continue to release IdentityServer related package, so you can easily update it whenever we release a new version. But if, for example, we migrate to .NET 7 in the end of this year, and if IdentityServer's original package cannot work with .NET 7, then we cannot continue support because it's not supporting. As long as it supports the .NET version we are using, we will continue ship the package, but we will not maintain the package actually. If you find a bug, we can fix it, definitely. But since we are not using it by default, we may not guarantee that it's completely secured and usable. Actually, in our layer, there is no security thing much, but for IdentityServer original package, it may not be maintained by its owners. You can answer, Galip, here.
Yeah, I will repeat the question. What are the key differences between OpenIdDict and IdentityServer in developer perspective? Migrating to OpenIdDict, how will it affect the ongoing projects? On developer perspective, only the terminology changes a bit. Other than that, we just use the same flows, all the templates using the same flows, authentication flows as it is. Single sign-on, single logout, all of them will be working as it is. So in the eyes of a developer, nothing will be changed. It will just keep working as it is. Only if you are security authenticist, and if you know about the security, and if you want to change some default flows or update or do something else, there may be differences in there. But normally, no, there is no differences when you are working with it.
Okay, if you are working with Azure Active Directory with IdentityServer integrated ABP project, I suppose you have integrated with OpenID Connect protocol or OAuth2 protocols. Now it will work with IdentityServer.
You won't feel any difference. It will work just the same.
It should work. 6.0 final release will be available in September.
Yeah.
It will be in the. It is planned to release it in the first week of September, but it may change. You know, it's software development, but it will be available in September. Actually, we have created Lepton X and we have provided 2 versions, which is the first one is Lepton X Lite, which is open source, which is free, and Lepton X Pro versions. For the Pro version users, we will ship SCSS files, and also we are thinking to create a team builder. So it will be available. I suppose the documentation is coming or already came. You follow the documentation. Yeah, you can just create it yourself. This is not so related to ABP framework, but currently our template is not like that. Yeah, it's related to ABP Suite. With ABP Suite have the same features as ASP.NET Zero RUT tool. Yeah, ASP.NET Zero RUT tool is loved by users. We know it has a lot of features, but ASP.NET Zero is monolith application, and it has its own restrictions. So generating code logic is different from ABP Suite. With ABP Suite, our job is harder because it supports microservice scenarios, different database providers, more UI options, and so on. So we don't currently have same feature set, but also ABP Suite have some unique features that's not available in ASP.NET Zero RUT tool, I suppose. But we are continuously adding new features. If you are talking about ABP commercial demo, yes, it's built with ABP commercial. But if you were talking about the demo engine demonstrated, I suppose it's already built with ABP commercial, right? Engine?
Yeah, it was built with ABP commercial.
Okay, because with ABP commercial, actually with Lepton X Pro, we have 3 color options, not color but style actually, dim, light, and dark. With Lepton X Lite, the free version, we have only dim option. Data per tenant? No, there is no per tenant data. I suppose the engine, right? It's user based.
Yes, it's user based.
I suppose GDPR is related to users, not companies. I'm not sure about that. But currently, no, not tenant for users. But it supports multi-tenancy. Ionic is also supported for mobile, correct? You can build Ionic applications with ABP framework as UI client, but we don't have any built-in solution for that. So no, I can say no. There are a lot of questions. You answered, Galip.
In the new version of Dapper, could be the default ORM or anti-framework core. Well, we didn't discuss about it. Maybe we can talk about it and try with benchmarkers. No promises, but everything can be done. Yeah, why not?
I don't suppose.
Let's say we will discuss about it.
Engin, you can answer this.
No, GDPR module is also implemented for Blazor and Angular UIs. But currently, quick consent feature is not available for Angular UI, but until the final release of version 6.0, we will also make it available on Angular UI.
Okay. Does the MAUI mobile template automatically scaffold custom application services and DTO like the ASP.NET Zero Xamarin? No, MAUI mobile application template currently has no code generation feature. I can say that. Another question. Is it possible with this version to use other identity services like Kcloak? Galip, what can you say about that?
Yes, you can use Kcloak, but it is not officially something that we support right now. But we had a few tests about using Kcloak alone as an authentication server. And we even also have on roadmap of eShapan ABP about using Kcloak as an authentication server instead of IdentityServer.
So it will be a good example if we want to use
example demonstration for how to use that. Yeah.
Actually, ABP is completely modular, especially for the authentication part. Everything is configured in the latest application. So that means you can create a new ABP 6 project with OpenIdDict and remove OpenIdDict package, add IdentityServer package, and continue using. You can remove IdentityServer and integrate it to Kcloak. You can integrate to Kcloak or completely work with another external authentication server. Everything should work because the authentication part is completely on the startup template.
Yeah.
In OpenIDDict migration, what happened with user that already registered on ABP? I suppose it's not related to users.
Because identity is a different module already. So identity module is responsible with the users. Identity server part, the authentication server, is related with the applications itself. So the users will not be affected from this change.
Okay, another question about migration. We have shown that we have a good migration documentation. You can follow the documentation and move from IdentityServer to OpenIdDict. Another question was, how can we automate this with a tool? No, we don't have any tool. It's not something possible to make via tool.
It is completely different configurations, but we have detailed step-by-step migration about the data seeding as well.
When have ABP decided to be the major partner supporter of OpenIDDict? Yeah, it was just before the OpenIDDict before OpenIDDict migration. We have talked with Kevin and we agreed on this sponsorship. Then we in parallel actually we were starting the build OpenIDDict migration. So we want to be sure that the project remain open source. At that time we have decided to this partnership. We have a SaaS application built with ABP 3.1. You are in very old version. We have a large number of tenants and users. We need to migrate ABP 6. How do we migrate existing accounts from IdentityServer to OpenIDDict?
Like I have mentioned, the tenants are located inside the SaaS tables, let's say, and they are in different place. Users are in different place. IdentityServer, OpenID doesn't have to do anything with your users or the tenants.
Yeah, thanks to ABP's great modularity, multi-tenancy is different module and it hasn't changed. And also identity is a different module which stores users, roles, and other stuff. Permission management is a different module which stores roles and user permissions. Everything remains same, except only IdentityServer related tables like clients, scopes, and some other stuff is changing. Normally, you will have a few, maybe 2 or 3 clients in your application. So it will be very easy for you to create new OpenIDDict applications and change your client code. So your application doesn't affect. But from 3.1 to 6, we may have breaking changes. So follow the documentation for migration notes. I don't know. Maybe Turkish and English. I don't know another language. Maybe in Chinese.
We can create a poll about it, I think. Maybe in Twitter.
Yeah. Actually, we want that. Let me announce that we are trying to build a ABP experts network. With that network, we will have ABP experts from different countries in the world with different language speaking. So we will also be giving training services with this ABP experts and having a bootcamp or a workshop can be possible in different languages when we have completed this progress. Will it be implemented machine-to-machine authentication?
Yeah, it is a client credentials flow. It is already working. It's already implemented. No worries.
If my old project is using version 5 and using IdentityServer, do I need to upgrade to 6 and switch to OpenIdDict?
You don't have to. switch to IdentityServer, yes, you can upgrade to version 6, but you don't have to migrate to OpenIdDict. If you are using IdentityServer, you can keep IdentityServer as long as it is supported by any .NET versions. So we will just keep releasing packages. But recommended, if you are asking our recommendation, yes, we recommend switching to OpenIdDict, but you don't have to upgrade.
That means upgrading to ABP 6 is a different thing than migrating to OpenIdDict. We have separated this, and you can schedule this in different times.
Yeah.
Let me go to latest questions because we have many questions. Sorry, maybe we may not reply all. Okay, IdentityServer was the top agenda topics in a community for a long time. What will be the next most important agenda topics of ABP? Yeah, hard question. We are not prepared for that.
Well, you can decide it. Just send out your thoughts. Just tell us what you need, what you want. I have a few ideas, but I will not say it in here. But it's a nice topic.
Okay, last two questions. The first one will be UI support for React. Actually, probably no. We will not have an official React UI. But community has React projects, I suppose. You can have a React UI that works with ABP backend. That's definitely possible. But when we introduce a UI option for ABP framework, we do a lot of things in the UI side, like integrating localization, integrating current user authentication, features, settings, and there are a lot more. Teaming is the most important one, teaming support and so on. But for a regular application development, all of these are not needed maybe. It's mostly needed for modularity and multiple UI supports and teaming capabilities. So you can use React, but we will not be React UI in the short term. Another question about Flutter, but the answer is same.
Yeah.
Is it possible all user data can be multi-language? For example, drop-down data for text box. Yeah, it's kind of a question related to multilingual entities. We have this feature in the roadmap, and if you see GitHub issues, but actually we are not planned a schedule for that. So for now, you should have to implement yourself. We have more questions, but we have our time is over. Bige, we are on you. I think you have some news to community.
Yeah. So for the winners, we have them underneath.
What winners?
For the Twitter winner, we have Moni Jolov. I'm not quite sure about the pronunciation, sorry. And for the comment winners, we have Ahmed Ayman Al-Alfi, Chung Nguyen, and Emrullah Usuk. So if you could contact us at marketing@volosoft.com, writing in the subject line, I am the winner of that ultimate or ABP commercial personal license, we will be giving away your gifts.
Okay.
So that will be it for the ABP Community Talks 2022.6. Thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you
It's been a
everybody for
great
joining.
session.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.